Coming up on Philosophy Talk.
The Man Without Qualities, Part 1. A sort of introduction.
Robert Musil and Life as an Experiment.
Chapter 1. From which, remarkably enough, nothing develops.
Musil was an Austrian novelist, famous for The Man Without Qualities.
You're a man without qualities if you don't take your qualities too seriously, if you don't think that your qualities define you.
Should we all live provisionally with principles we're willing to give up at a moment's notice?
If you do take your qualities too seriously, that's going to seriously limit your freedom.
Too much belief and you're dogmatic. Too little and you're wishy-washy.
How does it help to read a 900-page novel?
It's extremely funny, it has laugh-out-loud moments, and it's really chock-a-block full of extremely original and interesting philosophical ideas.
Our guest is Bence Nanay from the University of Antwerp.
Robert Musil and Life as an Experiment.
Coming up on Philosophy Talk.
Thanks for downloading this excerpt of Philosophy Talk. You can find the complete episode on our website, philosophytalk.org, where you can subscribe for free.
Or become a premium subscriber and question everything in our library, from Aristotle to Zhuangzi, from architecture to Zen Buddhism.
Recent cuts to universities and public media mean that your support for the program is more important than ever.
If you can contribute $500 or more, we'll thank you by name in the credits.
And now, on with the show. What would it mean to live without fixed principles?
Do your qualities make you who you are?
How can you prevent the triumph of evil if you won't pick a side?
Welcome to Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Accept your intelligence. I'm Ray Briggs.
And I'm Josh Landy. We're coming to you via the studios of KALW San Francisco Bay Area.
Continuing conversations that begin at Philosopher's Corner on the Stanford campus, where Josh teaches philosophy.
And at the University of Chicago, where Ray teaches philosophy.
Today, we're thinking about Robert Musil and Life as an Experiment.
Musil was an amazing Austrian novelist writing in the 1920s and 30s, most famous for a book called The Man Without Qualities. And Ray, this is hands down one of the greatest novels I've ever read, and also one of the most philosophical.
Yeah, in that book, the characters are running around planning this big anniversary celebration for the German Kaiser and the Austrian Emperor. But the novel takes place in 1913. So by the time the anniversary rolls around, World War I is already going to be underway. So the whole thing is pointless.
Yeah, that's right. And it makes the novel hilariously funny. Plus, we also get to spend time with a fascinating character called Ulrich, who has tons to say about reason, value, and the self.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in any of those things. He thinks reason is reductive, values keep changing, and the unified self is an illusion.
I mean, these are cool and exciting thoughts and everything, but surely it's no way to live.
Why not?
Well, if you don't believe in reason, presumably you're just going to act at random, which will probably lead to you doing things you regret. And if you don't believe in stable values, what's to stop you from becoming a murderer?
Oh, come on, Josh. Musil isn't writing a treatise. He's writing a novel. And so he's constantly raising questions rather than giving you answers. But here's my answer. You can just decide not to murder people. And that's probably even a good thing to do. Maybe it would be better if you chose virtue for yourself rather than just following somebody else's rules.
But what are you going to decide with if you don't have any principles and you don't believe in reason?
Oh, come on, Josh. It's not like reason is going to help you anyway. It's not going to stop you from committing murder. Musil writes, the scientific mind sees kindness only as a special form of egotism. So if we're thinking purely rationally, nothing is good or bad. It's all just economics and statistics.
Well, if that's true, I'm going to need my principles more than ever. I mean, they're what's going to make sure that I treat other people with kindness and respect rather than, running them over with my Cybertruck.
You just borrowed those principles from your culture.
Well, so what? Maybe my culture's right. Child labor bad, sharing ice cream good.
Yeah, what makes you so sure that you have it all right and other cultures have it all wrong? Musil says, in the long run, mankind revokes everything it has done to replace it with something else. What it used to regard as a crime, it regards as a virtue, and vice versa. So, like a few hundred years ago, it was good to send your kids down to the mines to labor. In another few hundred years, maybe kids will be mining minerals on Mars. How can you possibly trust your culture to know the enduring moral truths?
All right, Smarty Pants, what's your solution? If I can't trust my culture and reason doesn't reliably tell me what to do, how should I live?
Well, why don't you just try things out? In the novel, Ulrich talks about living life as an experiment for trying out the best ways of being a human being and discovering new ones. You're not just following society's rhythm, and you're not even dancing to the beat of your own drum.
You don't even have a drum.
Exactly. You're not doing your own thing, you're not doing society's thing, but you're looking around to see what hasn't been tried so far. And when you spot a gap, you say, ooh, I'll do that. It's never been done.
I mean, that's thrilling and everything, but isn't it a bit risky? I mean, if we're all just wondering about trying new things, how will we join forces to defeat evil? It's really important to pick a side.
Life isn't just about picking a side. There are other ways to help humanity, including opening up some new experience of life. Succeed or fail, you'll have given the rest of us an interesting example to either follow or avoid.
Sounds like an absolute nightmare.
Well, maybe our guest will convince you otherwise. It's Bence Nanay from the University of Antwerp, who's got a book coming out on Musil.
In the meantime, we sent our roving philosophical reporter, Holly J. McDeed, to hear from people musing about uncertainty the Robert Musil way. She files this report.
Unpredictability and uncertainty are scary for a lot of people. Every metaphorical button we press or decision we make could set off a chain reaction we can't anticipate. That's why in the TV show The Rehearsal, the protagonist, Nathan Fielder, helps people rehearse tough moments over and over again.
If you plan for every variable, a happy outcome doesn't have to be left to chance.
For example, in one episode, a trivia enthusiast plans to tell his friend he lied about having a master's degree, so Nathan hires an actor to play the friend and builds a full-scale replica of the bar for the confession.
Oh my gosh.
This spice rack, it's the exact spices they have, the garlic, the basil.
To ensure nothing goes wrong, Nathan hires actors to discreetly share the answers to trivia questions.
Building's looking pretty tall.
It is tall, but it's not the tallest building in the world. That would be the Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
The Rehearsal is an elaborate scheme to control every outcome, but maybe leaving events to chance doesn't have to be so agonizing. Unlike The Rehearsal, Robert Musil's novel, The Man Without Qualities, shows how uncertainty can actually open up a whole universe of possibility. If life isn't set in stone, we can revise it along the way.
Anyone possessing it does not say, for instance, here this or that has happened, will happen, must happen. He uses his imagination and says, here such and such might, should, or ought to happen. And if he is told that something is the way it is, then he thinks, well, it could probably just as easily be some other way.
It was just this exceptional book about not being sure about anything.
When Sophie Atkinson started reading The Man Without Qualities, she was on the cusp of 30 and also not feeling particularly sure about anything. She was living in Germany, unsure about returning to Britain, and also unsure about her relationship and her job. Then she met Ulrich, the protagonist in The Man Without Qualities, a man not defined by his character or anything really.
In his previous lives, he had been a soldier, an engineer, a mathematician, fields that sort of reward precision and certainty. And despite all of that, throughout the book, he makes a real virtue out of uncertainty and is really emphatic about questioning yourself being a mark of, intellectual strength.
No matter how much we try to control it, the world actually is uncertain and chaotic and fluid. Sophie wrote about the experience reading the novel in an essay for Austria magazine titled, I'm Certain About the Man Without Qualities. At one point, she even tried reading a version of the text with only adjectives and adverbs. It's called The Qualities Without Man.
When you actually read all of these adjectives in a row, you get a sense of the novel as something that's infinitely soft or gauzy, and that there's almost no firm ground.
The Man Without Qualities also shows us how our jobs don't have to define who we are. Job titles can change, and we're still mysteriously the same people. But in fields like the arts or theater, it can be difficult for who we are not to be defined by our occupation.
It is like a capitalist, intentional loop that keeps us prioritizing our jobs as our primary identifiers.
That's Sarah Augusta. Ever since elementary school, she was a theater kid. As an adult, theater became her professional identity. But over time, she burned out.
We were always working second jobs. We were always juggling, and I got like really sick, and I was like, I gotta pull the plug.
Leaving that job was both really hard and liberating. The exit opened up options and possibilities.
It was like a kind of an explosion where it felt like I don't have to do any of this. I can be free.
Sarah later pivoted to a job in public radio. After taking a buyout, she's now starting a bookstore, the perfect setting for people looking to explore endless possibilities.
If I had to pick a second identity as a kid, as myself, it would be as a reader. It would just be like a love of books.
Robert Musil says good librarians must never read anything more than the title and table of contents. He says a lot of funny things. And this idea of not having qualities is a funny one too. Refusing to commit to any fixed identity can make it difficult to act at all. Like for Sophie Atkinson, she realized she had to start making decisions eventually.
So I broke up with my boyfriend. I decided to move back to my hometown in the UK. And I decided to be a full-time journalist.
But she also didn't have to stick to that decision forever. Now she's working on a novel about work.
It feels a bit like driving at night along a country lane and you kind of can't see much further than the headlights, but you just keep going.
For now, she might prefer unpredictability over knowing, but who knows? As Musil says, it could probably just as easily be some other way. For Philosophy Talk, I'm Holly J. McDede.